This conference will now be recorded.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Medical Advocacy and Outreach tutorial for registering to be a participant in the Tread Red Walk and Fun Run. We're very excited to have you with us. If you have done this before, we may be reviewing details that you're already familiar with and have navigated successfully. If this is your first time signing up using our web-based registration system, not to worry, we will do our best to walk you through it in baby steps. You will find that it seems more complicated than it actually is, but we are thrilled that you're showing interest in being part of what is MAO's largest annual fund and fundraiser activity. Doug McLeod is also with us today. He's the coordinator for Tread Red, in addition to being the manager of consumer programs for medical advocacy and outreach. Hello, Doug.
Hey, how are you, Thomas?
Doing well.
Good morning, everybody. And what we're about to do is first, I will tell you Tread Red Walk and Fun Run. This year is our anniversary year, so we are now celebrating by bringing 5K, an official 5K run, back to our Tread Red Walk and Run for this year. So we will want to make sure that everyone knows the difference. This official 5K run will be looking for runners officially to run, and it is $35 for registration, and a t-shirt comes with it. Walkers registration is free, but we want you to register, and if you would like a shirt, you would purchase your shirt. You'll get a discount rate on the shirt, but if you just want to walk, we still want you to register so we can have the number count. Also, the walk is September the 24th, 2022, and it will be downtown Montgomery's train shed. Downtown is the starting point. We will be looking for vendors, exhibitors. If you would like to be an exhibitor or a vendor, please come out. We do have some sponsors, and we're looking for more sponsors and more people to come and just join in to help for our cause. Also, in this tutorial, Thomas is going to take you through steps to make it easier if you're not familiar with it. It helps myself and you to make it an easy process, really simple. So when you get to the walk, you don't have to do anything but check in. Meanwhile, I will say, just spread the word. We will still be taking COVID-19 precautions throughout. We want you to check out our store and all of those things on maoi.org /tread red. Excuse me, I've been doing it so long, I forgot to think about what comes at the end. I was about to say something else because I've done so many events this year.
Just remember to say it musically, maoi.org.
Right. And so I will turn this over to Thomas so we can get the walkthrough on Tread Red, just some basic things. We won't take much of your time, and I'll see you soon.
Thank you, Doug. We actually have learned a great deal over the course of time, trying to marry both what we need to keep everyone safe and organized on site, as well as to verify all of the efforts. And we're always so appreciative of everyone's effort, whether they're able to raise 50 cents, $50, 100, 1,000, every cent and every dollar goes to benefit those people who rely on MAO for vital life-saving services all year long. And so we want to make sure that you are comfortable in what you need to do. What you should be able to see on your screen at this time is what you will see if you visit maoi.org/treadred. You'll notice that this particular year, we really are trying to emphasize that people understand you can either run as a competition runner or as a walker to support the event. Both are equally important. They're both not only beneficial to the event, but they make good choices for good health. So when you visit that page and you slightly scroll down, that's where the meat starts, so to speak. You will see that you have, first and foremost, clarification. As Doug said, this particular year, the event will be on Saturday, September 24th, 2002, at the Montgomery Union Station train shed. As you scroll down the page, you'll also see, again, and this is just to reinforce what this tutorial is offering you, if you click on the very red button there, just as it says download a copy of the registration and sign up guide. That actually is also a picture by picture help to try to make sure that this is without a doubt as easy for you as possible, and to make sure that as many of your questions are answered. So that I'm not shifting back and forth, bear with me, I'm going to put this in front of me. This actually, as you'll see, you have several different choices. You will see tabs here for donate, register, of course, the merchandise shop, signing up for a volunteer role. You can even initiate if you have a business of any kind and you wish to associate that and support the event as a sponsor, you can initiate sponsorship. And also, most importantly, because we all play an active role in fundraising, there's one that is very straightforward: start fundraising. So for most of our participants, we really would encourage that they start there. You're going to start by becoming a fundraiser, and you'll notice it says fundraise peer-to-peer. So what that means for most of us slave-friendly people is that peer, meaning myself, and peer, meaning a friend, I can basically set this up and share it with my friend. Yes, Doug?
We can't see, I can't see that.
You cannot. Oh, bear with me.
That's how we see the advertisement. Yeah, you had it up.
There you
Thank
can
you.
see.
Yeah, I can see it
Okay,
now.
so, all right. So excuse me if I look to the side periodically so that I don't confuse myself either. But again, just backtracking, you'll notice that each of the icons has kind of a double label. Again, repetition is the best friend to everyone. We use it with children and we continue to use it as an adult, but you'll notice that you have different functions all within this to allow you to make choices that are convenient to you. We do ask again that each person start with the fundraising decision. Do you wish to help us with our fundraising efforts? And we particularly hope that you will, because every dollar really does go to help someone. MAO serves more than 2,000 people living with HIV or a combination of chronic illnesses throughout 28 counties of South Alabama. And those numbers continue to rise as outreach efforts continue to encourage everyone to be tested for various things, particularly HIV, also looking for people to get assessed and find out about their need for support to address issues, for instance, of substance use disorder. So the more need we identify, the more we need to do to try to respond to those people so we do not have to turn anyone away due to an inability to pay. That's my plug for why we hope you'll choose to be a fundraiser. So by choosing fundraise peer-to-peer, this basically allows you to set up a nifty little online page for yourself that you can share with friends, either via email or via social media, to encourage them to add their support to yours. Like many walks that have done throughout time, it's almost as if they're sponsoring you to be an active player. So you can actually do something as simple as send out your page link to all of your friends and say, I'm only asking you to donate $5. If you could get 50 friends to each donate $5 or 50 friends to donate $10, I think we can all do the math, how quickly that adds up without it being a major burden on anybody's wallet or purse. So to start our page setup, it is as simple as what you see here. You're going to answer these questions. In our particular case, I'm going to let's just say I'm going to make up someone. So we're going to call this person, please MAO. In this particular case, this please MAO person's email of preference is going to be.
Well, how about using me? I can volunteer to go ahead and use me.
Okay, we can always, if you have an entry in there, Doug, we can, I can clean it up later. So Doug, and for those of you not familiar, his last name is McLeod, capital M, small c, C-L-O-U-D. And his email address, this is also important for everyone to know if you have questions not answered here, is dmcleod@maoi.org. Remember, say it musically and you can never get it wrong. Now, in this particular case, and I'm going to ask Doug to consider his profile image later, but I'm going to just pick a picture that I know I have of Doug. So typically you would not see me navigating, but it should not take me long to navigate to a picture that I think best suits Doug. So we are going to jump to one of our past Tread Red experiences. I'm going to say 2019 Tread Red, because I know there's going to be an active picture in here. And I don't mind you seeing these pictures because you can see how exciting and how much fun people do have when they invest themselves in Tread Red and the really extraordinary work they do. All right. Well, enjoy the picture show because I probably have dug elsewhere in that year. So bear with me. Here we go, Doug. There's a picture that of you with our former CEO, Michael Murphy. And I believe that was Mrs. Isler as part when she was actually running.
Might be 2018, if not 2017.
And you'll see how easily that was. And you can also, as the image, so you could drag and drop to for those of you who are really computer comfortable. You're going to then click simply sign up. And this is where you start to kind of have some of the fun creative stuff. So in this particular case, what you first see is a page specific to you as a person, regardless of whether you want to join a team. And I will answer that question in just a moment. So in this particular case, you can actually even give your own personal page a custom name if you choose to. As you'll see, this campaign title is optional. If I don't fill in anything, then that page will simply be listed as Doug McLeod.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Doug, do you want to challenge yourself? And this, think of this, because I know you, Doug. You always will also facilitate a team. So what is your personal fundraising goal within your larger team effort?
$1,000.
All right, you go, Doug. But for everyone who does not know, Doug actually, if anyone could do it, it's Doug. Doug truly, works with people well, and as such, he's very good at, I think, really bringing across this level of sincerity, and people step up and they show their support. So in this particular case, and I'm going to have Doug go back and edit this for himself later, it allows you to create a personal story for yourself. Sometimes when you're trying to ask someone to give money or to show any type of support, it really helps to paint the picture why it matters to you. For in our particular case, we work into so much about Tread Red, the statement of for whom or for what would you tread red? This is an opportunity for you to say, I tread red for my uncle who's living with HIV, or my cousin who lost their life due to a combination of diabetes, hepatitis C. These are things that are personal to you, but they really help to communicate to family, friends, coworkers, why you? Why are you showing your support? And it can be as long or as short as you want. Once you finish your personal story, you're going to decide at that point. You can stay as an individual because you want your chance to be all of the prize-winning accolades. You do not want to share them. That's fine. That is a personal choice. And at MAO, we endorse personal decision-making. However, if you know that you want to join a team that you are already aware someone you know created, you could choose join a team, and you can actually choose from a drop-down list which team you would like to join. So in this particular case, let's see this. If we hit join a team, you'll notice that we have, I set it to only show the largest teams at the moment for the benefit of this particular walkthrough. But you can see we have MAO Dothan, or in that particular case, the Wiregrass Champions, or we have Dr. O's Care Angels. For many of you who may be familiar with Dr. Marguerite Barbara Owens, she is a staple of compassion as well as experience, and she is a contender. People, she is so wonderfully dedicated to community causes that she would be the first to challenge everyone to really, step up, take a step, or do something that shows your support and awareness. So I'm not overtly endorsing her team, because most likely Doug is going to articulate one of his own that you may wish to. But it does show you how simple it is. Once you make that choice, you are automatically associated as a member of that team. So you would simply make that choice and click Join Team. However, because we are working with Doug, and like I said, Doug may wish to create a team of his own, you would take the option of Create a Team. In this particular case, you would want to give that team a name. So Doug, do you have a team name in mind?
I do not at this particular. I was gonna say Doug's Soldiers for the Run. I don't know, for the cause, but I will think about that later.
We're going to say Committed to the Cause for the moment. For those of you who will be checking in later, that may change, because Doug is going to put some creative thought processes into his team name. But just know that anytime you do see a listing for a team, you can also access who the team leader is assigned with that, so that if names are changed or associations changed, it's very easy for you to still make sure that your support is going either directly to someone's team or to them as a member of the team. In this particular case, you can also come up with a specialized campaign title if you would like, but it's entirely optional. Again, this is every optional field. It will automatically reference what you've put in elsewhere. So in this case, it will list this particular team as committed to a cause. This also gives you another opportunity, again, because we're in a world of pictures. Pictures can say 1,000 words. So you have your personal photo already there that you chose, but you can also pick a photograph that also speaks to, we'll say speaks to the masses. Let's see. This is a nifty picture, which, here we go, of Doug from the 2017 walk-in event that we can drop in, which you can see, Doug's got his peers with him and his peeps, and I can guarantee you that those people probably were supporting his team several times. So he can go back and alter this photo later, but we're going to use that one for example. Now, in terms of your team, again, Doug could decide that because his personal goal is 1,000, he could make the team's goal the same amount if he wants to. Either way, make sure the default falls on him, or he could set his team goal higher, because again, the intention is with a team, you have multiple people raising support, and every individual's efforts counts for them, but it also contributes towards reaching the team's goal. And when we talk about goal setting, it has as much to do not only with helping us achieve our fundraising goals, but also for those participating and putting so much effort into it to be eligible to win incentive prizes.
Right.
And we base those on a variety of factors. In the case of the competition runners, it's very cut and dry, because we're talking about a competition. They, first place timing run is everything. And for those who do like to do competition running a lot, they will put themselves out there. But also, we know in a case like this, we have people who are really trying to help us reach those benchmarks. So we have prizes that are based off of the top fundraising team, the top fundraising individual, the people who have literally encouraged as many people as possible to join them in their representation in Tread Red. So when we keep talking about goal, it serves two purposes: to help MAO and to also help establish for yourself or for your team, what of those benchmarks are you going for? What are you really hoping that you could get out of it? And before we wrap this up, I'll have Doug just kind of comment on some of the types of prizes that he's been able to coordinate in the past that he anticipates might be possible for the coming year. So for this particular, again, you have a team story, very much like we did for your personal page, that allows you to encourage people. You know, why does it matter? So the thing is, this could be the same as the story from your personal page if you're a team leader, or it could be another message that allows you to broaden the way you're looking at it. So it speaks to your peers, to your friends, the people you share and you encourage to be part of it. Once you've actually done this, you're going to hit Create Team at the bottom. Notice that all of our buttons kind of have a red berry color. And you'll see, and don't let this confuse you, it returns you to this particular page, and this was filled in. You would see it still filled in. Notice right here where now it says your team committed to the cause. Now we're into the modern world of just verifying for security purposes that you're not a robot. Right. So you check the box and hit Get Started. Now, as soon as it processes, you'll see a screen like this. That means that you have an individual and or team fundraising page to share. The system will automatically send to your email address the links that allow you to go back in, to edit, to change everything from your fundraising goal to your story to your photographs. And when you work with that, I really encourage everyone to have fun, tell your story, because when we help people, the thing that we learn every day is that every person has their own unique story about how these issues impact them. This is a great way to marry increasing awareness for those you love and the causes you love, and to help us to provide direct consumer programs that help change lives. From this page, now that you've done that, you can quickly now make your decision. Do you want to be a runner, or do you want to be a walker? So for that, literally, you just want to click on Register, Sign Up. Now, in this particular case, I'm going to ask Doug. Doug, do you want to be a runner or a walker?
Right now, I'll say a runner, which I know my team, I will be the only one running.
Right. No, and see, this is something to why these two pieces are separated, because we are considerate that within even a team environment, in some cases, not everybody feels from a health point of view that they can run, but they want to be part of that team and still walk. So you're not pigeonholed. You can have runners and walkers within your team. It's all about the choice for your sign up registration.
And you can click walker. You can click walker, because I, as the coordinator, I will run anyway, whether it's official or not. I run anyway for a purpose of time in the program.
Okay. So with the differences between the two largely are the startup cost, which Doug did clarify at the very beginning of our walkthrough. For the competition runners, there is a required $35 registration fee. That does, however, include the cost of the Tread Red novelty t-shirt for 2022. That will come, and that this particular shirt is specific to runners. There is a entirely separate shirt that is designed with our walkers and everyone else generally in mind. This particular year, we are thrilled amongst the many promoters and supporters to have State Farm Insurance, Jessica Major's agent, actually stepping up and being our runner sponsor. So basically, they're helping to keep the cost down, but they're also, and you'll see in the coming month, the very red, bright colored shirts. They'll have their logo, our logo, everything on it, and nobody can miss the word runner. So everyone in the streets of Montgomery will know you are a runner. But for the benefit of the walkers in our group, you'll see this man walking his dog. And by the way, if you've never seen public photos of Tread Red, yes, we have participants who responsibly bring their pets on leashes. That's the only thing we do ask, because as a pet owner myself, I have 3 dogs, a cat, a bird, and 2 fish. I want to keep my animal safety in check at all times, but they are welcome. I always like to point that out. Again, I'm an animal fanatic. Once you've made that decision, there's some critical information here that will be, some of it's repeated. Again, we want to make sure that everyone understands what is expected of them and what they can expect of us. So you'll see that this reflects information specific to a walker, because that was the election made. It is a rain or shine event. The actual route maps will be provided closer to the event. As Doug had pointed out, we added the 5K component back in here this year, which means that the full route, even for the walkers, will be 5K. Now, with that said, showing up for as much as you possibly can as a walker is still critical to the cause. So always keep your own health in check. And if you can only walk 3 of the 5K, we want you to make sure that you do so with the most consideration to your health, because we want you there at the finish line with us when we're celebrating. So when you're looking through this, you'll notice that embedded in this information is a discount code. That code is specific to discounting t-shirts for walkers. This will take $5 off of the cost of the shirt, and that can be purchased in just a moment as part of the same sign up through the online store. You'll notice that it repeats again, because we do not want anyone to get confused, that the monitoring of the runner portion is being done by About Time Events. They've been a great ally to us to keep basically everything ethical, on the up and up, and to legitimately, when we say they're timed, they're timed. Walkers, you have latitude. Again, you'll see the registration deadline. This is largely to allow Doug to guarantee that every shirt, whether it's just purchased outright or by way of walker sign up, is actually there for the event. As we all get into, when we have to order and custom order, the later you order, the longer it takes to get. And we don't want to risk people not having their shirt on September 24th. There is registration on site. However, again, we cannot guarantee that things like custom novelty shirts will be available at the event. We would like to hope so, but again, we, like everyone else, have to try to make sure that we are utilizing the proceeds in a way that does not exhaust what's needed to go to our clients, because it is a fundraiser. You'll also see, just for curiosity, the repeat of some of the benchmarks related to the prizes. Again, prize incentives are everything to us. We want to make sure that we know, and you know, it takes a lot of thought, a lot of heart, and a lot of effort to really make a difference. And for those who go above and beyond, we do what we can to try to make sure that within the realm of reason, you and your peers are acknowledged for the support you give. And this is just a snapshot. I can tell you for sure what typically happens is beyond this at the event, Doug has coordinated a whole other additional kind of list of opportunities for prizes, sometimes directly through MAO, some through the exhibitors and the vendors that are graciously giving of their time to also exhibit at the event. We've had bicycles drawn and given away. We've had salon packages going and given away. It also is an opportunity to just show how much the community comes together in this. And why shouldn't you get a prize? Put your effort into it and you will get a prize. So with all of that kind of summary read, and I'm not going to read this verbatim for you, but I do encourage everyone, just like, don't sign anything before you've read it, because there's valuable information like the code that's embedded right there that you could easily miss. So you're going to decide how many people you're signing up. Yes, you can sign up more than just yourself at the same time. We just encourage you that you sign up walkers as walkers and runners as runners, because that benefits you and it benefits Doug and everyone coordinating the event. In this case, we're going to pick one person and we're going to add that to our little cart. And you'll notice our system is very cautious to make sure it doesn't move faster than the decisions you've made. Collectively, see, there's a little 20-minute countdown here. That's how much time, and then honestly, if it times out, yes, you will have to start over, but don't worry, no harm's done. So at this particular point, let's just say that you want to purchase your shirt. You want to go ahead and take care of it. You can literally just click on MAO Tread Red Merch Store. In this particular case, you'll notice that we've isolated, you can just deal with the shirt. If you want to browse other items that are in the store from here, you can do so. You'll find that we have everything from custom Tread Red COVID face masks to these wonderful nifty keychains that we introduced last year, just so that you know, if you're out and about, you can subtly show how much you support just for health, MAO, and Tread Red. And by the way, those keychains are also bottle openers, just in case you didn't figure that out. So if you wanted to do your t-shirt, you would select this, and then, as is often the case, you just want to clarify, how many do you want? Because just because you may be only signing yourself up to walk doesn't mean you may not wish to buy other shirts for your family and friends, which we're thrilled if you do so. But
Right.
make sure that, again, you take that into consideration. We're not going to walk through the rest of this, because at this point it starts to become like every checkout system. You will be asked before the close of your transaction to specify your shirt size or sizes if you're buying multiples. We do order largely based off of what is ordered through us, so that we can be very respectful of everyone's individual size choices. We like to be comfortable, and we know you do too. So in this particular case, we're going to just jump back. And you'll see it's wanting us to do this again. So we're going to, at any point, you could always jump to view cart. You'll notice the things always come up here. You can always continue browsing. That'll take you to other choices, or view cart, and it takes you to a summary. In this particular case, you can see right now we have one walker. And you always know, if you follow the little images, there's a walker with a walker or a runner with a runner, and you know you've chosen the right thing. So this gives you, so far, we only have the entry for the walker in the system. If you wish to complete this and come back later for your shirt, just remember that discount code. It's pointless to share it though, because if someone else who has not registered in the system tries to use the code and it doesn't match your email address, it will not allow the code to be used. But it is entitled to you as a registered participant. When you click check out, this is where it's every choice you've made, everything you've done basically gets filled in. So in this case, we're going to fill it in for Doug. And bear with me, I'm just going to do some quick. Thought I was going to do it quickly.
While Thomas is filling that in, I do want to just encourage people again. It is a fundraising, Tread Red. You can Tread Red for diabetes, for the food bank, all those things. You can for PrEP, for the wellness clinic, for the mom's clinic, and you can also just Tread Red fund. Some people Tread Red for diabetes and HIV. my team will be doing, because I think it is very important for the people who are diabetic, people who are on the verge, or people who just want to avoid it and they have history of diabetes in their family. So that is a good way to walk and fun run. And I do know people are going to talk about the weather. We do have the train shed. We use that for the weather, whether it rains or it does not. But also for people who are concerned about the heat, depending on the temperature in September, it will be warm. It may be hot, but we will be finished in a time frame before the temperature rises to a level where no one wants to be can tolerate it outside. So that's right. So that is one of the pluses for doing the walk the way we do it. And if you would like to be someone who would want to provide refreshments, I am open to anyone doing some healthy things, providing fruit, things like that in the morning, snack bars that could help people when they run. I'm looking forward to having warm-ups. I have been reaching out to a lot of trainers in the area. You can spread the word. If you know someone who's a trainer just beginning to train, tell them to come and join us. We may even add them to the list to help out with the warm-up as well. But I did wanted to throw that in there while Thomas was.
That's good. Those, believe it or not, those are additional forms of sponsorship. And I think often people don't realize that for some businesses, particularly, it's easier for them to give money. For other businesses, it actually works out better for them to help in form of some type of product. You know, whether that's individualized bottles of water, whether that be some sort of easy to distribute, safe food product, so that it helps us deal with the masses, and it also prevents us from having to use proceeds from the fundraising component to offset those things. Because even from a health point of view, we do take that into consideration. We have to have water stations, we have to do things of that nature, because we want to make sure that while we're raising awareness, while we're raising funds, we're also never forgetting that first and foremost, MAO is a nonprofit healthcare and health education organization. So the health of people in our rural communities is paramount. So I did fill in some of the basic information for Doug. In this particular case, I'm using the Montgomery MAO clinic address, which is where often Doug can be found most days. But I do want to draw everybody's attention to the fact that, even for those people who want to participate, but let's just say you don't want your name listed on the website, or you don't want it shared externally, there is this little box that says, make this activity anonymous. If you check that, for all external purposes or whatever, no one will see that. That does not, however, in the case of like Doug as the coordinator, who may have to arrange for your shirt, or may have to, for security reasons, make sure he's aware that you're there and included in the body count. He will know who you are. Our system will, but it will not be automatically shared or displayed anywhere. However, if you do want to have your, you have no problem with your name showing up, you may wish to also go ahead and put in a little message of support. So since this is our mock-up with Doug, we're going to say go tread red for life. And again, that little message will show up right beside your name on the Tread Red page. If you scroll down, you'll see where people start. As we get closer to the event, you see more and more of those personal motivating messages. When you notice this little line that says select fundraiser, this is where you would be choosing to associate your individual support, your walk or your shirt buy, whatever, as part of your collective efforts, either as an individual fundraiser or as a member of a team. In this particular case, you'll see it lists both the team name and the team leader, so that you actually get this idea, again, in case the team name gets increasingly more creative as we get closer to the event, which has happened at times. You also are always aware, okay, who's the team leader? If you get confused about some of those little nuances, the system points it out for you, so you have more information than you need. So we're going to associate Doug with Doug just to make his life easier. And when we click continue, It does have an important question because, believe it or not, we have to know what works and what doesn't work in terms of communicating with you. So you're going to pick from these very common sources of where you may have learned about TreadRed or learned about the activity. In this particular case, I think it's safe to say that Doug is an MAO staff member because he is the coordinator of TreadRed. You'll see that as you drag down, this is where, again, it's largely to verify some information. It has one walker, which is what we put in for him right now. That's his name. That's the primary phone number that we put in the system for him. I cut and pasted it, but you can type. In this particular case, it's discretionary, but we're just going to go ahead and clarify for our database purposes. You'll notice there is a couple things, and these are specific to us and transparency with you. This is what we call a waiver. First and foremost, that you're 18 years of age. Now, why do we ask that? Even if you are under the age of 18, we would still love to have you come out. There is nothing that's not sensitive to age there. We have many people who have honestly, I applaud them. They have ran with strollers in front of them with a living baby in them. But we still want to make sure that your safety is paramount. So it really does need to have a guardian or a parent actually do the initial sign up for you. Or
Correct.
If you're over 18, you're over 18. You check the box. This waiver is what you're signing to. And this basically has to do with, to be honest, it's some common sense language, but we do, again, make sure everyone understands that when you are engaging in any type of physical activity, you are putting yourself at potential risk, not due to any risk factors that we may have created. It could just be to natural health. So again, like I said, for us, the bottled water stations, all that stuff, we're committed to doing that. That's as much as we can do. So think about your own health and know that you share a responsibility in your safety, because that's what this waiver basically is clarifying for you. Then you would basically enter your name as your digital signature. You'll see it's translating it over. And in this particular case, for Doug's benefit, because I can go back and revise this in the system, we're not going to reveal Doug's real age. So we're going to enter in the same date that I put for walkthroughs. So pretty much anyone born after 1970, you're old enough to make your dose decision. So when you click continue, it's going to give you a review of what you've entered in the system. We've signed up to be a walker. We have not, in this particular case, added our shirt, but again, remember the code, because you can come back at any point and go straight to the online store and use that code to get your walker shirt. Just use the same email address when you go through that checkout process. You'll notice that it says add me to the mailing list. This is entirely voluntary. If you would like to receive communications, not just about TreadRed, but other activities that we may be doing. For instance, we have an upcoming, we'll call it a professional development conference in Dothan on September 29th, hosted by MAO Behavioral Health. If you want to receive information about that. We also have representatives from our education and training department that go out to various programs in the community. I know one of the events that they will be representing at is one, I believe it's on September 17th, hosted by Montgomery Pride United. Is that correct, Doug? To your knowledge, I think that's
to my knowledge, yes.
So again, if you want to learn about all of those things with MAO, click add me to the mailing list. The first time you get an email broadcast from us, you will have the opportunity to make your kind of category and interest selections, and that will narrow down how many emails you get from us. So once again, we are back in the modern world to the security question to make sure, again, you are not a hacker, and so therefore you are not a robot. You want to check that box and click finish. And believe it or not, you'll see we still have 5 minutes and 45 seconds that was on the counter by the time we got here with our conversational. You'll notice you'll receive this kind of little bit of wrap-up page. Again, some of this is repetitive. It does clarify you will have received, if any money was given to MAO at that particular time, whether it be for a t-shirt or something else, you would automatically receive a receipt for that. That will come into the email address you used. You'll also notice that for anyone who, let's just say they did not follow the steps of this tutorial directly, therefore they did not start by creating their own peer-to-peer fundraising page, we add that as a specialized bullet point, because that's the part where we do understand some can get confused. It also reiterates, if you wish to email Doug to ask additional questions, his email address shows up right on your screen. And you'll find that it's repeated in the receipt information that came to your email address. If you are already prepared, let's just say you're doing this last minute, you have a stack of checks that you got from family and friends, whatever, coordinate with Doug. Because the online system works best for utilizing digital forms of payment. But if you have a stack of physical checks because that's how your friends and family wanted to support it, that's not a problem. Communicate with Doug, and those can be entered by our staff on the back end and still show up accredited to you and your fundraising or your strategy goals. So that's not lost out.
And if that information is put in there correctly by the back end or myself, you would also get an email about that transaction as well.
And that's one of the things too, I do encourage people, if you're submitting what I call manual payments. Cash, although we do discourage it, remember it's risky to hand over people cash, but checks, things of that nature, if you want a receipt automatically sent to whoever wrote the check, make sure that their email address is shared with that, because then we can take care of it for you. That email receipt can go straight to them, showing that that payment was received by us. Now, you'll see again on this screen, before we kind of jump away from it, it gives you another opportunity to go back. Let's say, for instance, you're with a group of friends. While you have this screen up there, you can just allow them to jump on your screen, and then they can do the same thing. They can right there. It's less navigation. They don't have to go back through the website, any of that business. And particularly if you're trying to get people to join your team that you've just created, it's a quick, easy way to jump it up. Doug, do you have any questions that you think so far people would have raised?
No. I think from my experience now, people have gotten it and they got used to making sure that the information, and once they get an email, I think people are seeing the smooth process is a little bit easier, it's a little bit faster, and hopefully it will explain things, and it's not too long for them. The system itself gives you a really long time to figure out what you're going to do. So I do like that, but I want people to know that if you just go through the steps and you don't want to browse, you can just continue to go to the cart, do what you need to do, and it probably won't take you but 5 minutes.
It doesn't actually. It took us longer because we talked through it.
Right. And it's really easy. And when it comes to this page, it says, thank you, participation. I did want it to, and I know you're going to say it, but could you tell us what happens after it says, thank you for your participation? Trevor will exceed its goals and save more lives in South Alabama. So they are now finished. So what button, someone did ask me this, what do they need to do at this point, this page that we're on?
Okay, so from this page, they can literally close it out, because they received via email, if they set up their individual fundraising page and or their team pages, while we were doing the rest of this, they would have already received emails that had links for editing their pages, adding to their pages, sharing their pages. And that's why I really would encourage people to know that depending on what choice you made will depend on what you've already received. So if you start with the setting up your peer-to-peer pages before you decide to either run or walk, by the time you get to this point, you check your email, you will have a series of specific emails that are all related to pieces of what you did. So there's really nothing that you need to do here. The similar page that shows up like this after you just create a peer-to-peer page or team, they will see that there are additional, that's why you see the system removes, it systematically starts to remove things that are no longer relevant.
Right.
At that point, there are additional buttons for them to jump right back into their page and edit it if they already know they want to make changes.
Mm-hmm.
But I think in most cases, even our system assumes that what you knew at the time you started the page is probably as much mental energy as you can give it in that instance. So thus the email coming through that allows you, when it's more convenient for you, you can jump back in and edit your particular
Okay.
pages to share. I also, just some kind of easy tips for folks. In some cases, if you want to increase the ease of sharing things, we live in a world of QR codes. And for anyone who may not be as versed in what that might be, you'll see like on the screen, we embed a lot of these QR codes. And that's because of smartphones are so many people's primary computer. I mean, that's everything to them. Do you know you can actually, there are free services on the web where you could take your fundraising page link and create your own QR code that you could literally then just keep on your phone and share folks.
Mm.
One of them is literally just for the ease of searching, and in no way is this promoting their product or anything, but there is one that literally is called qrcodegenerator.com. So just keep that in mind. I think in this particular case, sometimes it allows us to further increase convenience for ourselves. You could take your personal page link, create a QR code, download it to your phone, and when you're talking to people, you could just bring up your QR code to show people that say, here, you could scan it right now and get started. I think, that's one of those things that where I can always assist with, but you could also do it just yourself. Of course, if there are any questions as people start to process through the system, they can either contact Doug or they can send a general message or question to info@maoi.org. That's info@maoi.org. And those get routed to me. And I will do what I can to also facilitate that. I do want to say, if someone signs up to support individually and then they tell you later, oh, I want to be part of your team. We can associate people with any team that's already been set up. You just have to let us know. So again, that's the same thing. You reach out to Doug or you reach out to me, and we just need to know who they are and what team they want to be associated with. And believe it or not, in our system, it is a simple issue of drag and drop their name under that team.
Correct.
And the system and the computer system takes care of the rest of it for us, which also allows us to better coordinate when the computer is not playing its role on the day of event, because on the day of the event, understandably, we take all this information, and that's what Doug and the volunteers use in order to actually work directly with the people in an organized way. I do want to just reiterate to everybody, for the sake of convenience, if you are going to our website, bear with me, I'm going to bring the TreadRed page back up for you. Bear with me, there we go. Let me drag it here for your benefit. There are additional resources that do serve. As I noticed in the beginning, there is a download a copy of the registration sign-up guide. This guide basically is an even more simplified version of what we discussed in this walkthrough. Our internet is a little slow today, so I do apologize. That it is in a PDF format that allows you basically to go through, and you'll see there's actual pictures with little arrows to help you understand what you need to do to sign up. And again, I know we're all what I would say different types of learners. Some of us need to see it in writing. Some of us need to see it in pictures. Some of us need to have this experience where it's audible. Just to know, we've tried to take that into consideration to make this as user-friendly for everyone as possible. Also on this page, there are additional support benefits, one of which is a cause education and fundraising toolkit. This is something that we know that even the most dedicated person may not know all of the little facts, all the little details that are so important that we learn and share when we're trying to explain to someone why it's important to support someone living with HIV or someone living with hepatitis C or someone who's combating substance use disorder. So within this guide, it starts to first give you some basic educational content about each of the critical health issues that MAO addresses and through which MAO's resources do. Doug, I know that you started out as a community health educator. How much do you think, just the general population knows about the impact of things like HIV on someone's daily life? You're muted.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Surprisingly, some know more than they used to, but at the same time, they don't know as much as the world expects for people to know. It just depends. I do find that there are people who are in different situations, whether in college or whether they have someone connected to social services, social work, or in the medical field, a nurse, that lets me know that they've had conversations and they have a little knowledge of the conversations that they've had with their friends or families, loved ones, but a lot of people don't know the details and things that we would expect them to know. A lot of people don't know.
And that's one of the things we hope to, and that's why I really wanted Doug to provide that kind of framework. That's why even in what we ask people to do in terms of getting involved, it gives us an opportunity to educate them so they can educate others. And beyond just the impact of trying to eradicate HIV and to get those living with HIV to a point of being undetectable, because again, undetectable equals untransmittable. It's also just looking at the needs for them to live the best possible quality of life. I pulled up this particular page, and this is in that guide, just to give you an idea about how the costs kind of impact someone living with HIV versus the rest of us. This is often news to people because I don't think most of these even realize, I mean, I do because I see my credit card grow, how much on average we spend in a grocery bill per month. If someone is having to pay because they have no insurance out of pocket for their HIV medication, you start to see, okay, if this is how much is going out because they don't have insurance, and yet this is probably the lowest most of us can get just to buy groceries in our home, you start to see why some of this is so critical. It's not, part of it is addressing the direct medical care needs, and some of it's addressing their social support needs, because if they can't eat, then they can't stay healthy. If they don't have their medication, they can't stay healthy. So I just encourage everyone to give this a glance. You'll also find that built into this same kit, about halfway through, is some fundraising strategies. For those people who really want to get creative in how they do it, there's some suggestions on how you can do it, whether you choose to make email your choice, social media your choice. If you want to schedule, now that we're getting a bit more of a grasp on how to keep ourselves safe with COVID, if you want to plan a party to get your friends to support your involvement, you will find tips in this guide. And then last but not least, you'll see that there are additional information, as Doug mentioned, for those who wish to be exhibitors. There's an exhibitor application. We just encourage you that you can download and look at it, but we would still regard us to reach out to Doug and discuss it with him, because it's always about trying to create the best possible marriage between any business that wants to be represented or supported. We want to make sure that it's appropriate both for what you want to do and the messaging of our event. But do consider that. The same thing if you want to initiate a sponsorship. We encourage you to take a glance at the sponsorship packet that you can download, but always know Doug is your primary resource. If you have questions, or if you want to be really creative and say, you know, I see these are the choices listed, but this is what I'm thinking about doing. Is there any way we can make that work? The answer is most likely yes, but reach out to Doug. As the coordinator, he can see how all the puzzle pieces fit together for the collective best interest. So I think that covers pretty much everything other than just giving a very early shout out to already our lead sponsors, Avita Pharmacy, Gilead Pharmaceuticals, actually Gilead Sciences, Janssen Pharmaceuticals, State Farm, which I had mentioned earlier. Did I cover them, Doug?
And yes, and we have potential for some more, and especially our #1 community partner besides State Farm as a business, our community partner, KRAC, Central Alabama Alliance Resource and Advocacy Center, out of Wetumpka, with the executive director Shakita Brooks Jones, and also the director of events, Mr. Marco Mays. They have been fantastic with supporting some very community projects that we have been tied in with other community partners, as well as one of our biggest this year volunteer support team is the Montgomery Impact, which is a local chapter of a national chapter of the Academia Society of Young Men, of all ages and genres. It is also particularly looking at young men of color, and they also support various colleges and various other young men who are having issues, either bonding with other people, maybe needing help with college resources and things of that nature, but also they're tied in to working with the community to let the community see that we do not discriminate on what other basis, but they're here to help support young Black men as well as young men around. They go to various colleges and do community service as well as community service. And my team here in Montgomery, I really appreciate them. They have been the forefront of helping assist with different projects, especially at the walk, and also this particular event that KRAC is hosting of this research study. They have been very helpful in that, and they've always helped MAO in the last 3 years. So I would like to say shout out to all of those people, and especially please come show support, because without some of our sponsors that we had now, especially our platinum sponsor, I can't say it enough to thank William Rayner and the new one of the new community liaisons. I think he will be here soon, so I can meet him in person, from Avita Pharmacy. They have been fantastic in helping us in our time through a lot of COVID and various things that we had to concentrate on. They stepped in to kind of assist me to making sure that we can recognize and keep MAO in the light with the community, especially with the different things that we're doing, especially the walk and all the other things that we've done so far. And coming up, you will see more things about World AIDS Day. So Vita Pharmacy has been that platinum sponsor that have sponsored all of the events for our anniversary year. So I would like to say shout out to them and shout out to all of our other support. And of course, none of this stuff will be done if I don't give him credit. The creativity of Thomas and the websites and the flyers and all of the things that he has done to make sure that this stuff happens really, really easy. Because in the past, it was always foot grinding and paper and making sure I run around and pick up checks and money. And this system has made it very easy to concentrate on other things, and especially concentrate on our community supporters, our clients, and especially everyone in the community who is supporting MAO. So I thank you, and we will see you September the 24th at 2022 downtown for Tread Red, and we want everyone to tread red for life.
And remember, help spread the message using hashtag TreadRed. The more we can get
Yes.
the message shared, the more that we can get everyone to see people, not illness. So thank you so much.
Goodbye.
Bye.